North Dakota's roads face some of the harshest conditions in the country. Long winters, big temperature swings, short paving seasons, and widely varying local aggregates all make performance hard to predict and even harder to control.
Our climate is harsh on pavements. Thermal cracking is a problem.
I'd say our cold weather is very detrimental to our roadways, but we have two extremes depending on when you're looking at temperatures in the winter and temperatures in the summer, and trying to balance that is, I would say, one of our hardest things to do.
We use portable plants and we have a short paving season, so we do all of our paving in about a 5-month span. And these portable plants are running around the state trying to produce, as much mix as they can in that short time span. And then our aggregates are really variable throughout the state, and we have some pockets of good aggregate and a lot of pockets of not so good aggregate.
North Dakota DOT knew things had to change. They just needed the right support to accelerate that shift. That support arrived through the AIEI program.
I think when it comes to AIEI and some of the contacts we've made and the things we're a part of, I think we just have a lot of conversations with everyone involved. Quite frequently, I think we see a lot of the same people, whether it's through AIEI or at other conferences or other learning opportunities. So I think it's been relatively easy to keep the conversation going and be in tune with everyone, because I think we've all just established a good working relationship and we all feel comfortable talking with one another. And the resources are out there too as well about learning opportunities. But it's amazing how when you get involved in these things, how the networking and the relationships you can make with people to keep the conversations going.
So I think being a small state can be an advantage because we have more of a small focused material staff. So I think it's a little easier for us to make spec changes and make changes to the way we do things. The large geographic area, we have different areas of the state that have different problems.
With new tools and performance tests like the Hamburg, North Dakota DOT gained a clearer picture of how local aggregates were affecting roads in different regions of the state and why certain problems kept repeating.
So I think kind of what we learned through balanced mix design, especially through AIEI and the learning opportunities, is we got a lot closer look at some of our local aggregates for one, especially through the Hamburg test. I think we were aware that we had a lightweights absorption problem with our aggregates, and I think this just really brought it to the forefront, just to seeing, wow, this does really affect the performance of the roadway. And then you start seeing that it made sense. We'd have projects that came out of certain pits that had aggregates with those certain characteristics, and then we saw stripping within the first year or two of it being on the road. So I think that's the biggest thing with these performance tests, is that when it makes sense. Well, even in the short term, we're not seeing things go that, we haven't had these performance testing equipment for the full life of a pavement yet. But issues that these performance tests indicate that we may see, we will see them quite quickly. I'd say the biggest thing is asking the question, why? Why have we done these things for so long? And what we're looking to see, what are other states doing? What's industry doing? I think it's refreshing now. When I first started with the DOT, when we started first asking questions and trying to get more involved, finding maybe how far behind we actually were, and now seeing that, hey, when we get to these conversations, like, well, we're with the pack, and that's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
Research is never turnkey, right? So you never get a research product and just turn it around and implement it. But you always learn something from it, and there's always something you can take away and implement. And so one of the things we always are trying to say, what can we do to make our specs better now, and what's a long-term goal? So there's always little nuggets you can take away from the things we're learning through research and innovation and being involved in these types of groups. And it also creates a bigger picture of what we need to move towards and how do we make little steps to get there. I think it's really made people really engaged with their work. I think it's made them really excited to come to work. Just being able to work on something and then having our peer states see what we're doing and being really interested in what we're doing, I think it gives our staff a lot of pride in what they're working on is really important. So
The journey is ongoing, research isn't turnkey, and innovation doesn't happen overnight. But with every lesson, every performance test, every partnership, and every resource such as workshops and webinars, from the AIEI team creates another step towards more durable, more reliable pavements. North Dakota isn't just keeping up anymore, they're helping lead the way, showing how collaboration, curiosity, and a willingness to innovate can build better roads for everyone who drives them.